What's the number one asset that you need to protect? And hint, it's not your house or your real estate. Here's what it is. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you. You work so hard for your money, and you're now ready for that money to start working harder for you today. You want to become work optional. You want to work because you want to, not because you have to. You want to have enough passive income so that you can actually pay not just for your life and your bills and be able to have that worry-free and stress-free, but even more importantly, you have the ability to be able to grow and prosper and bless the lives of those around you with that ripple effect that you can create. That is why I'm here today. Thank you for allowing me to create that ripple effect through you. You guys have been binging on these episodes, you've been sharing. And again, I know so many of your lives have been changed because of this. And so if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us at moneyripples.com for any questions or any way that we can support you. All right, guys. So I want to talk about what's this number one asset that you need to protect? Is it your house? Is it your real estate, right? Is it, is it your cars? Is it your kids or whatever it might be, right? But I really want to talk about what's this number one asset you've got to protect. And the simple answer is, guys, it's you. It's you. You are that number one asset. Now, what do I mean? Well, first and foremost, let me ask you a question. If think about your home, the home that you have right now that you own, right? Or even if you say you don't own it because you have a mortgage, you still have control of it, right? Think of the home that you live in right now, right? How much is it worth? Just ballpark. You don't have to be exact. How much do you think it's worth? Now, let's take it to another scenario here. If there are no humans on this planet, what would your house be worth? Exactly, right? Not a big fat zero. It's not worth anything, is it? So where's the real value? Is the value in your stuff or is it in people, right? What gives it the value? This is something I realized for myself when I was young in my 20s. I bought that Mercedes, right? And I was showing it off and everything. I thought I was being a producer, as they called it back in that day with a certain subgroup that I followed. They talk about being a producer, and producers drive great cars because it gets people to ask good questions and better conversations, and you help other people do it. And the truth is, my car only got like a 20-year-old that wanted to lick my rims, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't really anybody that was so impressed because I had a Mercedes. Some people were wondering, eyebrows were raised, but in fact, it actually kind of repelled the people that I wanted to help the most. It repelled people because they're like, oh, he's just showing off. Because the answer was, yes, I was. Yes, I wanted a nicer car, but yes, I was showing off because I thought that would help people want to learn about financial freedom. Now, after the first couple weeks of driving my car, you know what I realized? It was just a hunk of metal, just like everything else. Yeah, there was cool little bells and whistles with it. I mean, it was, had more technology that was, definitely beyond its time. It even had technology that even cars that I have today don't have. But the truth is, like, it was just a car. It was just a hunk of metal. There was no real value other than what I gave to it. And the truth is, even after I had it for a while, I realized it didn't really give me any real value. It wasn't the Mercedes, just like it wasn't the nice house that I bought, the big McMansion that I had to try to wow people. Yes, people did love coming to my house and we had good conversations, but it wasn't about the house. It was the conversations, the connection that mattered. Same thing with this. Like, guys, I can go and create a massive studio, and who knows, there might be a day I'll do that where it might make sense to have a live studio and bring in guests that way. But the truth is, like, why? For what purpose? Because it's the conversation that you and I are having right now. Yes, I know it seems like a one-way conversation because I'm just talking to a camera. You're on the other end of this, watching the video at whatever speed you watch at. I watch myself at double speed. By the way, I just noticed YouTube has triple speed. That's kind of cool, or quadruple speed. Way too fast for me though. But anyways, so that's the thing. It's like this conversation, this relationship that you and I have, even if I've never met you before, I feel this duty and responsibility to share this with you. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing every day. If you don't know my story, guys, you know that I was a financial advisor. I was teaching people how to become financially free. What I thought was financial freedom, right? Just save in your mutual funds, slave away, save away, and eventually you'll sacrifice enough days and years of your life that you'll have enough to finally live a few years of your life in retirement, right? And even then, you're living on a budget. And of course, when I realized that wasn't true, especially with my own father, right? When I realized that even he wasn't able to retire after doing everything right, paying off all of his debt, saving in his 401k, getting the match, and it still wasn't working. And even though he saved enough, because I know there's a few of you saying, well, he just didn't save enough. Well, obviously he didn't save enough for that strategy, because that strategy doesn't work well. And everybody that says, well, he just didn't save enough, are people that are younger than he was saying, oh, I ran the calculations, it should work. Yeah, that's all theory. He's real life. He's real proof. You're not. You're just putting your numbers in a calculator thinking that you'll know what your life is going to look like in the future, right? And this is the truth, guys, is that ultimately the whole vision we have here at Money Ripples is to create 1,000 of you, of your families, financially independent by the year 2030. You are the asset you need to protect. It's you. How do you protect you as the asset? First, the best way to protect you as an asset, right, is to really protect you as that producer, that creator. See, you get a choice in life. You can either be a creator or a consumer. Yes, we do both in life. That's true. But a creator is all about, how do I go about serving people? How do I solve problems? How do I add value in such a way that money is just the byproduct? How do I create value in people's lives? Because dollars follow the value you create. You need to protect you first and foremost, because you are the economic engine. People don't hire your stuff. People don't even hire you for the money you have. I don't know of any employer that says, listen, if you pay me $70,000 right now, I'll hire you for $100,000 a year, right? It doesn't happen that way. No, you're offering your human life value, not your property value, your human life value, this human capital, your time, your energy, your talents, and your education, experience, and expertise, and training, and all these things that you have, and even past experiences that can be used in a way to help add more value. Either if you're a business owner, is you in that role, in that seat in your company, or two, your seat in the company as an entrepreneur, where you work a job, a W-2 job, or as a contractor, whatever it might be. You are the number one producer. You need to protect yourself first and foremost. So how do you protect you? First and foremost, take care of you, right? Even if we just go to the basic necessities. Are you eating well? Are you eating healthy? And I don't just mean home cooked meals. Understand that, guys, in like about, I think it was like 2013, 2014, did you know I was taking every day, I was alternating every other day with these. I was taking an Advil every other day and the Tylenol on those other alternating days. So I was going between, actually it wasn't Advil, it was ibuprofen. So ibuprofen to Tylenol. I was going back and forth. So I wasn't destroying my liver, right? But I was doing that because I was in massive pain. I was eating home cooked meals. We were making food, but we weren't eating the right foods. They were all they were all GMO'd up. They're all just cheap foods that I bought, like many people are doing today. And that caused massive inflammation in my body. I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now, and in worse health and weaker because I was in worse health. I had less energy, right? If you see, I should find I'm sure my team will probably ask me to find some video that they'll take a clip of, because we have old videos from our channels that have videos of me when I was overweight. In fact, my team will probably show it right now. You can let them know what's going on and be candid with them and be honest. But all right, well, I don't know if they did, but I'm just putting this in the future. But I was definitely overweight, right? I was overweight, didn't have the beard either, right? But I was definitely not well. Okay. And that was something that affected my mental and emotional health, my spiritual life. It affected my physical life, obviously, even my marriage, everything else. It spilled in everything. You need to protect you by taking care of you. I recommend doing a power hour. This is insurance that doesn't have to cost you a dime. How do you use those 3 E's, right? Now, I call it Power Hour. I got it from when I worked with Garrett Gunderson. He stole it from Tony Robbins, called the Hour of Power. I know, really original, just flip-flop the words. Hour of Power was Tony Robbins, but you've also heard probably Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod, right? You've heard these kind of guys. All this stuff. It's some sort of morning ritual. And we've actually been doing this in our company for the last, in the first quarter of this year, where we said, everybody, you'll get a bonus if you can do this every single day and report every single day on doing a power hour, which is the 3 E's: exercise, education, and enlightenment, right? So exercise, are you moving your body? What are you doing to keep yourself in a healthy state? It doesn't mean you have to go freaking train for marathons like I do, right? It could literally mean you're just going out for a walk. I do that every Sunday, actually. Like on Sundays, I go out for a walk. I spend more time in the enlightenment part, especially. But you can do those kind of things. You can do something that's just moving your body. It could be calisthenics. It could be just literally squatting, stretching, doing all kinds of stuff. Yoga. I mean, you name it. Yoga, by the way, can even spill over to enlightenment, depending on how you're doing it. If you're doing it with like breath work and things like that, and meditation, which is the enlightenment part. Meditation, breath work. It could be journal writing. It could also be reading, scriptures like the Bible or something like that. It could be prayer. It could be all kinds of stuff, whatever you do to connect to spirit. And then, of course, the education piece is, what am I learning, right? What am I putting into my mind? This could be something that helps you in your career, helps advance that to help you become a better value creator. It could be something for a certain skill you want to learn. It could be all kinds of things. Somebody would be like, hey, it could be a fictional story. No, not necessarily, right? But it's something that really is getting your mind active so that by the time you get to your workday, whatever your workday looks like, and this could even be if you're a stay-at-home mom and you've got a massive workday that does not end at 5 o'clock, right? Whatever it might be, it's getting you to be at the highest and best energy and use of your body, right? It's a stewardship. It's really about stewardship, but for you. So I'll just say this. Wasn't even planning on talking about this, but this is kind of a bonus for you. But that hour of power, that power hour that you're doing, that morning ritual has to happen. And whatever it looks like, whatever form, do that every single day. That's one of the best ways to protect you as that asset. Also, it also puts you in a better state of health and well-being, which allows you to live longer. And that's a good thing. Now, what are other ways to protect you, right? Now, you can also protect you from when it comes to your income. So not just creating more value, which is obviously great, becoming that linchpin as Seth Godin does, that's always great, but also becoming better in the sense that you protect you. Like, how do I protect my income? Like, I call income insurance, that's a nickname I give it for disability insurance. I have disability insurance. If anything were to happen to me, and yes, that includes my mind, not just my body. I know somebody's like, you could be like Stephen Hawking. Yeah, I could. But the thing is, I know that was my Stephen Hawking impersonation. Amazing, amazing, brilliant mind, obviously. But like obviously, even if I'm in a wheelchair, that will affect my day-to-day energy. It'll affect my mind and things like that. And that's the thing. I remember telling that to one of my an insurance agent one point when I was coming out of the financial advisor phase. I was like, "Do I really need disability? Because I can always make money with my mind." He's like, "Chris, don't you think people also have mental issues too?" And then, of course, my mind went back to my grandmother getting Parkinson's. I thought, well, good point. I guess so. Anything can happen. You never know what can happen, right? So do that. Like disability insurance is important. Life insurance, very important. That's one of the number one ways to protect you, not just you, but your family. If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now. And if you think that you don't need it, just like disability insurance or long-term care, another thing that might help beyond the disability, because disability may only go to like age 65 or 67. But going beyond that, long-term care insurance is very important. So the insurance is very, very important. If you don't think life insurance is important, like that's one of the most selfish things you can say, unless you're like, I'm single, I have no kids, no spouse. Cool. All right, great. You don't need it then. It's true. Now, you might want it for a little bit in case there's extra bills left behind. You don't want to have to self-insure, because if you self-insure, now you can't get your money out working for you in investments that might get locked up, right? So you got to be careful about going the whole self-insurance route. But again, that's why I buy it on myself too, right? And I've got plenty of assets. I probably got more assets than almost any of you watching this right now. And I still feel a big need where I have millions and millions of life insurance, not just because I sell it, but because I actually feel like my family will need it to pass on the legacy I want to pass on. And it also gives me a permission slip to spend money. That means I can actually go and keep a mortgage at 2.75% jumbo loan right now, where I get a tax write-off on the freaking interest too. I'm loving it, right? Why would I want to pay that off? And because of the life insurance, I never worry about it. The same thing with my other properties where I know they're cash flowing. I don't have to accelerate paying those things off or, and use all my cash flow that way. I can use my cash flow, reinvest, and make more money than I would paying off a low interest loan, right? So again, it's just how I can move all the chess pieces around. I have those things in place. That's very important. Another aspect of protecting yourself is make sure you've got the right corporate entities in place, whether you're a business owner or not. Because if you even own assets, maybe in the real estate space, you want to separate you and your family from your other assets. Because what if you have a renter, for example, in a rental property that wants to sue you? What do? Well, if you have a clear separation between your business, your corporation that they're a part of, and you, guess what? They can't touch you. They can't get to it, right? So have that separation. By the way, it's another reason why I use whole life insurance, because I know all the money I put into my whole life insurance is 100% protected from lawsuits of creditors, because I'm in one of the many states, most states in the United States, where it is 100% protected. I can store millions there and it's never accessible. Okay. So that's one great way to protect me as a producer, protect my peace of mind. I'll also add this too as a part of protection, having an emergency savings account. This has got to be first. This has got to be a priority for you. If you don't have the emergency savings account, your mind will race. You'll start to wonder about what you can do, and you just won't produce at the highest level. And so give you an example. I had somebody reach out to me recently. They said, "Hey, okay, I'm trying to figure out which debt do I pay off. Do I pay off this $1,600 debt, or do I pay off this $8,000 debt, or how do I do it?" And I looked at the cash flow index numbers, and I realized which one worked. But there was actually a tie. But then the thing hit me in my mind. It said, "Wait a minute, how much do you have in savings?" It said $1,000. I'm like, "Great. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to build that 1,000 to over 5,000, probably preferably closer to $10,000. And then when you get close to that point where you're about 10,000 bucks, then you can pay off the 1,600. In the meantime, just keep paying your payments. You're going to be paying it down in the meantime anyways, but don't rush it." I've learned from myself is that I used to be the one, especially when I was deeply in debt, especially when I was over $1 million in debt after the recession. I had to dig out of that hole. And before I became financially free the second time, right? I was actually going and trying to pay off all these debts. If I had any extra cash, boom, it would go there. Just like my wife, she had, my ex-wife now, she had any extra cash. She's like hoarding, food, going to the grocery store and hoarding food just in case, right? Build up the food storage. And then of course you don't have cash. And then inevitably what happens? Something happens to where now I no longer have the cash that I need, because something happens where there's an emergency, like a car breaks down or something, or maybe we have a lower month of income or whatever it might be, where now we're like, oh, now we need that money back. And of course, the crazy thing is, what if you're trying to pay off a low interest car loan, and now what do? You go and have to charge up a high interest credit card. Does that make sense? Pay off something low interest so then you can charge up something that's high interest? No, that's like going and put money in a 401k when you still got credit card debt. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, right? Most debt should probably be paid off. And I know this comes from a guy who actually doesn't mind debt, but most debt that's higher interest, that all that should be paid off before you even worry about investing, right? So that's a big thing. That's my own personal opinion. Everybody has their own, of course. So, but ultimately, we got to protect you, protect your mind, protect you as the producer. And of course, just ultimately, like, it's really, you are the value, right? This is something that I know is kind of core for me, is that the only value you have really is in yourself. That's the only thing that anything has value is because of you, because of us as people. Otherwise, these things have no value. Remember that things don't have value, people do. Things never have value, people do. I'm getting a little emotional here because I just found out just in the last several hours, it was confirmed just in the last few hours, in fact, that one of our dear clients, actually passed away. And in fact, I don't want to play favorites, but I mean, definitely out of the hundreds of clients I had, he was definitely dear to my heart too. And I even here, I'll even share some pictures because we actually had him on 2 of these episodes. I would invite you to go watch here right now. So if you guys remember, if you've been watching this show long enough, I know some of you guys are clients. You probably already heard this by this point because we announced it. But Dan Markert, he's the colonel I often talk about, the guy in California that had $1 million in retirement plan. If you watch my videos, you've probably heard his story many times. Had $1 million in retirement plan. His financial advisor said, "Well, good. Now you can live on $30,000 a year, pulling off 3% a year." And he said, "No, I got to do something else." And so he heard me on Lane Kawaoka's show. I know some of you guys, his show's now changed to Wealth Elevator. You guys might have seen me on that. But he saw me on that show and he said, "I got to follow Chris." And he ended up following us, reached out, and we said, "Oh, hell yeah, we can help you." We can definitely do some stuff for you. And that's where we got him to in different investments and whatnot, to where, yeah, he did end up creating, over 100,000 a year of passive income. And so we not only just had him on because it was like, and he suggested this. He's like, "Chris, I want to come on early on in my journey to kind of do like a before and after." And so he was just starting with us during that one. So that's 534, how this colonel changed his retirement plan. We're just searching YouTube, Money Ripples, Dan Markert, you'll find him. But then we did another show a year later where he talked about escaping out of the rat race in 6 months. And you'll see here his background is like the freaking forest. Why? Because he was working on projects, environmental projects, and things like that. The pressure for making money was off, right? I mean, he obviously had his military pension, he had all the passive income coming in. This guy was set, but he still had purpose. He had life up until the day he passed away, which, as of recording this, I found out was just a few days ago. Passed away of a heart attack just suddenly at his desk, and that was it. He was gone. And the thing that's tough for me is that, of course, that we never know how many days. And you hear me say this all the time, right? I just did an episode recently talking about this, that you don't know how many days we have left numbered. What I'm so grateful for is that, he was searching for answers. He was looking. He even binged around between different things. I mean, he found Lane Kawoka, and then he found me, right? And then he eventually found that financial freedom and independence that he had as he was becoming now a retired colonel. And I'm so grateful he had that life. Even if it was just for a few years. He had those years of his life there. Imagine, imagine what would have happened if he would have just said, you know what, maybe I just got to stay in a little bit longer because, I just gotta, maybe I just don't have enough. 30,000 years not enough. I just gotta get another job and do something that maybe I don't even enjoy. Maybe he's not in the private sector versus, in the public sector with the military. Right. And so, I'm not saying this because like we're amazing, because none of this would have happened had he not reached out, and it wouldn't have happened had he not done something with the information he was given. And I look at his life because he was a guy that valued life. He did value people, a very caring guy. I know in our community, he was willing to help out other people. He would often share his own experience and wisdom, especially on our calls and things like that. I mean, he was pretty much like a leader among our own clients, and that's something that I treasure. I really treasure, because because that's the thing. Life is sweet. It's good when you have it, you know, and uh, and I hope that I live my life like that too. I hope that I hope that some way, shape, or form, I'm helping you. Even if I can't see you through this camera, right? Even though you're watching this, I hope that somehow this is benefiting your life, because that's why I do it. I know I can just be financially independent and just be quiet and just live my life with my family, but I feel like I'm called to do so much more. And this is why we exist. This is why we're here with Money Ripples. This is why we do what we do, because we want you to have that life. And you are the asset. You are number one. You truly are. It's not your stuff. It's not even the money you have. It's not the lifestyle you create. It's not the job or the career. It's not even how many kids you have. You don't have to compete with me, my 8,000 children, right? That's not it either. I mean, although that's a good asset too, but it's not about that. It's about you. And what do you do each day of your life that makes a difference in others' lives? This is why the show exists. This is why we have the Money Ripples podcast. What is your ripple effect? This is why you got to prioritize you as the asset. Because if without you prioritizing you, without you taking care of you and your family, you cannot fulfill the measure of the creation that God has made for you on this planet. Okay. And yes, you can still do stuff even while you're in the rat race. You can still do things. You can still serve people. You still help people out, even if you're not financially free yet. Start now, because I can guarantee if you start now and then you work towards steps of financial freedom, you will be even better and more powerful in that place. If you have a servant heart today, you will be better. And I want good people just like you out there making a difference in people's lives. This is why we need 1,000 people financially independent. I am so proud that Dan was one of those 1,000. I'm proud that he was one of those people that made it work in his life, that he lived it, and that he was able to live the way he wanted to live, even to the end. My hope is the same for you. Don't waste another day. Don't waste another moment just hum-hawing and getting caught up in all the noise of the world, the media and the freaking Fox News and CNN. All that's BS anyways. It's just wasting your time, wasting your energy. It's all drama. They're all just trying to keep you locked in. Same thing with social media. It's a bunch of BS. You need to be focused on you and the people that are most important. The assets that are truly around you. Invest in that. Yes, you can invest your money too, and invest to buy your time back. That's why we invest it. That's why we need it, what we do. Anyways, I know I kind of went on a rant there, but I hope you know that I truly do care. Even if I haven't met you, I care about you. This is what I feel called to do. I know my team feels the same way, and I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy that they're supporting me, even so that you can even see this stupid video because I suck at tech. Okay. So I'm happy that I have that. So, anyways, guys, I truly want to wish you a prosperous, not just week, but I want you to start today to do whatever is necessary to create a prosperous life. If there's any way myself and my team can be of service to you, please reach out to us at moneyripples.com. Heck, like and subscribe to these videos, share this video with somebody else, share this YouTube channel or whatever, share this with somebody else that you care about, because you never know that you might have a friend that is another Dan Marker that might be blessed by what they learn from here. Even if they don't do anything with us, even if it's just they learn from it, it opens up their mind to expand, to do something different with their life now in the moment, so that they can cherish the time that they have left. Whatever days they have left, they can do it now. Now is the time to cherish that. So please do so today. Let us know how we can support you. Make it a wonderful and prosperous week, so that now acting today can make it a wonderful and prosperous life.